Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. Today I have a new tutorial and it's talking about instrumental and vocal balancing and blending. Get a lot of questions on the channel about how to achieve the proper balance between your instrumental and your vocal tracks. Now, it can be kind of a tricky sort of blend to make sure that your vocal is in the pocket with the beat. It's still got the groove to it, but you can clearly and easily hear the vocal and the beat is not distracting the vocal. So all these things are aspects of the mix that you have to consider while you're starting to balance and blend the instrumental and the vocal track. So what I want to do today is I want to show you a session now, and I have the chain over here. This is the actual mix. The song is by Moses Stone. It is called Believe Me, and it's got quite a few effects over here on the chain, but I've got everything bypassed right now, and I want to let you hear the verse just as it was received. This is how I got it, and then we're going to talk about some of the inherent issues there with the instrumental and vocal blend, and then how these different things that I've done in terms of processing help achieve the balance we need. So let's go ahead and play it back.
Sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it better. I done came a long way from the struggle, now I'm doing it. Numbers, back to back, it's my summer, I'm proving it. Say she got some friends, tell her, come and bring them with you out it. Isabel with Aria, whining lots of women, mention parties in the hills. Swear them girls is hella crazy. Sex game at her hooks, so now she tryna have my baby. Stuck in my ways, she know that she hurting.
All right, so that gives you an idea of the recording. Now, obviously, one of the biggest issues here is we have a lot of dynamics going on. It's a very dynamic performance. We've got quieter spaces, and things are kind of just dropping in and out. So it's very important in a hip-hop vocal that we have everything sitting up front, and that is a combination of compression and EQ, but mostly compression is what gets it sitting in terms of volume-wise and just evening out the dynamics. So I now want to play it back with everything on it, and then I'm going to break it down into the compression and the EQ, and we're going to talk about it. But let me just play back the mix version.
Sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it better. I done came a long way from the struggle, now I'm doing it. Numbers, back to back, it's my summer, I'm proving it. Say she got some friends, tell her, come and bring them with you out it. Isabel with Aria, whining lots of women, mention parties in the hills. Swear them girls is hella crazy. Sex game at her hooks, so now she tryna have my baby. Stuck in my ways, she know that she hurting. Fell in love with the young guy, had her calling me for certain. Every single day I'm working, hit a couple mil by 30. Focus on all of these goals, I don't think y'all niggas heard me. Yeah.
All right, so that gives you a better idea. Now let's break it down. And what I want to do is I want to turn off all of the compression for you. So I'm just going to turn off any kind of compression that's happening. So I've got a multi-band compressor that you saw, as well as a just normal compression. And then I have a limiter. So we're going to turn off all of that dynamics processing. And this is just with the EQ, a little bit of reverb, a little bit of delay, an analog channel that just kind of warms it up a little bit, and a de-esser.
Sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it better. I done came a long way from the struggle, now I'm doing it. Numbers, back to back, it's my summer, I'm proving it. Say she got some friends, tell her, come and bring.
So you can hear the EQ is giving us that clear separation. It's got that nice high end that is, again, just having it sit a little bit on top of the instrumental. However, our dynamics, things are just kind of going in and out. So we're not in the pocket yet. We've definitely got it to where it's sitting on its own, but now we want to achieve that sound of being in the pocket. So now, once I turn the compression on,
sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it better. I done came a long way from the struggle, now I'm doing it. Numbers, back to back, it's my summer, I'm proving it. Say she got some friends, tell her, come and bring them with you.
So now everything is in the pocket. It's very easily heard the dynamics aren't dropping in and out. We want it all to be very upfront. So a couple of questions for y'all when you're doing this process. The first thing you want to ask is, again, can you hear the vocal in its entirety the whole way through? Is it hard to understand certain words? If it is, then it's usually a compression issue. Also, EQ and de-essing, you can get into trouble if you're doing too much de-essing, might drop off some syllables, some sibilant kind of consonant sounds. So you got to be aware of that. Is the vocal uneven and harsh in the dynamics? Again, that's a compression issue, and you want to go back and really fine tune your compression there. Can you feel the groove of the beat? So let me show you something here. If I am to, let's just pull up the beat here. If I turn the beat down, and you'll notice it's a 2-track. I mix this to the 2-track. So if I turn the beat down,
sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it better. I done came a long way from the struggle now.
We totally lose the groove. I mean, the vocal's very upfront. It's very present, but we've totally lost the bounce of the track.
Sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it.
So it's a very fine balance to make sure that your vocal is not too loud. Now let's go ahead and let me just show you. A lot of you ask, what level should I be at? Where should my vocal be and my instrumental be? Where's the meter I'm looking for? Level meter, yeah. So we'll pull that up and we'll put that to RMS, and then I'm going to solo the vocal. You are going to hear the vocal has a little bit of distortion on it. That's done on purpose. It was a style thing.
Sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it better. I done came a long way from the struggle.
So we're at minus 15 RMS. So now let's move and let's put that on the beat here. And then let's go up to the beat and let's just solo the beat and see where we're at. So we are clipping a little bit. Again, I'm not concerned about that. I'm doing some master bus processing that's evening that out on the master, and it's not audibly distorting. However, we are at minus 8 RMS. I usually will tell you that to compete, the level of the mix these days is generally going to be minus 10 to minus 7 RMS. That's competing with commercial records in terms of master levels. Now, I also want to point out that the beat is generally going to be, that much louder than the vocal. Your vocal is not going to be louder than the beat in terms of RMS. Very rarely. The only time that I've ever experienced it that I can recall would be if the beat didn't have drums, because the kick and the snare are going to be the loudest elements. In terms of RMS, those dynamics and transients are going to be very loud in the mix, and that's going to be the loudest aspect. So if your vocal is louder than the beat in terms of RMS, you need to scale it back. It's way too loud. But those are just, again, general kind of numbers to look at on your metering to see where you're at in terms of the instrumental and vocal levels. All right, y'all, so there's a quick overview of some ways that you can start identifying whether your instrumental and your vocal are balanced and blended correctly. Again, it's a very fine relationship. They both need to be complementing one another. You don't want to distract the listener from the vocal. You don't want the beat to be too quiet to where you lose the groove. We want to have them bounce into it as they're following the vocal. So it's just a really fine compromise, and it takes some practice. You want to develop your taste with this balance. As I always say, listen to a lot of music that you feel is blended and balanced correctly, and then start using these technical processes that we've talked about. But just to recap, the really important aspects of the mix that are going to give you this blend, particularly on the vocal, is going to be your compression and your EQ. You could very clearly hear when I turned the compression off, the way the dynamics started to kind of swell in a way that was, not keeping it up front and impactful with the beat. Same way if we were to just have the compression and turn off the EQ. Let's just do that real quick. I didn't show you all that. So we'll turn off all the EQ.
Sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them, they can't even hate me cause I do it better. I done came a long way from the struggle, now I'm doing it. Numbers, back to back, this my summer, I'm proving it. Say she got some friends, tell her come.
So there we have the bounce, and it's in the pocket, but we don't have that separation, that high end that's going to give us kind of that air between the vocal and the beat.
Sliding through this bitch like I don't know no better. Stunting on them.
So in tandem with the compression, the EQ will give us that separation. So again, hopefully these are some ways that are going to help you all get that blend more naturally. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. If you learned anything in this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.